Hi, I'm Catherine Connor, Executive Director of PAC Australia, the national organisation for performing arts presenters, creators and producers. I'm a female with long brown hair and I'm wearing a white shirt and dark rimmed glasses. Behind me are the PAC Australia and APAC's logos. I'd like to acknowledge that I live and work on the traditional lands of Australia's First People, who have been custodians of land, waters, stories and customs from the beginning. This land is unceded and home to the longest continuing culture, so I pay my respects to the traditional custodians, their elders who hold and share their knowledge, those who have come before and those among us now. I acknowledge all First Peoples who work with us as collaborators, peers, leaders and custodians of culture and stories, and I'd like to express my appreciation for their leadership within our sector. Today I'm on the lands of the Darug people, which is about 25 kilometres inland from the Eora Nation, also known as Sydney. So thank you to the ISPA team for the opportunity to provide this regional update for Australia. Thanks to the rapid exponential growth of cases here in Australia, thank you Omicron, this update is a little different to the one I thought I might have been delivering. Like everyone, we thought we were getting on with living with COVID. And while that is still the end goal, the current case numbers are certainly having an impact on confidence across the board here. The experience of COVID has not been a linear one in Australia, with several states spending a substantial part of this year back in lockdown, while others have enjoyed much more space to create and present work. And this is in large part due to strict border closures between states here, which of course made even domestic touring a difficult, if sometimes impossible enterprise. However, the resiliency and fortitude of our artists and presenters meant that work was still delivered domestically, with many also embracing new delivery models for performing arts in the digital space. I point in particular to the Australian Digital Concert Hall and their fast response to securing the livelihood of artists that they developed in March 2020 and continues to go from strength to strength. I could also point to Circo, who we all know, who fearlessly continued to create and tour internationally while still creating work and supporting the presentation of work throughout Australia. I can point to artists and organisations such as La Boite, Country Arts South Australia, Melbourne Fringe, Performing Lines, and indeed PAC Australia and many more who are developing new and better ways of embedding artists into organisations. There's the work of Dan Graham, an Australian ISPA Fellow, Theatre Director and Disability Advocate. New funding was delivered this year through the Australia Council to embrace ideas and opportunities that create cultural equity, social inclusion and sustainable business models that are designed to reimagine the way we will work into the future. And across the sector, we are seeing new ways of working emerging. Concept touring in particular, alongside new models of digital delivery. More and more presenters continue to move their programming outside their four walls and create new engagement points with their communities. The impact we have on climate change in touring and presenting work across such a broadly dispersed country is also a key influencer in determining how we're going to be moving forward. So between COVID, digital performance, greener touring, greater diversification and accessibility on and off stage, the touring landscape in Australia is definitely changing. It feels slow, but hopefully we can see its significance. And we have had more reasons to be optimistic about moving forward or through COVID, both nationally and internationally. While COVID numbers have surged in the last 3 weeks and the rolling impact of the last 2 years on programming and sector sustainability will still be felt for some time to come, we continue to brace for some difficult times heading our way, but there's still some good to embrace moving forward. It has been thrilling to watch our performing arts communities right across the country become productively busy again, not just busily managing the works of or the needs of working through a pandemic. Each year we release our key arts dates for significant industry events in Australia, and releasing this year's edition felt like a season launch for the sector. If you're interested in having a look, it's on the homepage of paca.org.au, paca.org.au. So other reasons we're feeling optimistic, vaccination rates are now amongst the highest in the world. In less than a month, our final state border will reopen. International travel will be possible and no doubt incentivised to and from almost everywhere in Australia. And of course, watching our audiences return and new audiences emerge, even if somewhat cautiously. Prior to the most recent round of lockdowns, presenters around the country were reporting attendances were up by over 30% pre-COVID. So we're hoping to see a bit more of that after Omicron has peaked. If you're interested in engaging with Australia, we have a strong cohort of leaders attending ISPA virtually this year, and I would always welcome the opportunity to have a conversation. Thank you to David Bale and the team at ISPA for inviting me to speak, and congratulations to the Planning Committee for delivering another ISPA Congress in these really difficult settings. And as announced earlier this year, we're thrilled to be welcoming ISPA to Perth, Australia in 2024. And in the meantime, I'm looking forward to seeing everyone again in person soon, and sooner rather than later. Be well.